What up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the DJ J-Ronin podcast and the All Elements Mix Show. We are here. Of course, I'm your host, DJ J-Ronin. Bald head today, no hat. I'm not scared. I don't got a hairline no more. It's all right. I keep it real. I'm here, and I got a very special guest all the way from Buffalo, producer DJ extraordinaire, Cee Gee. Welcome, brother. Welcome. In the place to be. That's right. And he's been doing his thing. I played some of his joints on my radio show before I knew who he was, including the what was the soundtrack joint, the Griselda soundtrack record? Conflicted, and that's with Westside Gunn, Benny the Butcher, and Armani Caesar, right?
Yep. Mission accomplished.
Right. Mission accomplished, right. So I was playing that already, and then he did the joint from Westside Gunn's Hit with Hermes 7, right?
Broadway
Jones, right.
And also I did the Mach Hommy, pray for Haiti.
There you go. Shout out to all my Haitians, from Flatbush. So, Sapashe Abule, all that stuff, Salute. But yeah, man. So you're working, brother. You're working. You're working with Griselda and the Mach Hommy and you're doing big things. And you're from their city. You're from Buffalo.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how you first fell in love with hip hop.
I fell in love with hip hop like in my early age of childhood, because it was an era like you watch it was an era when you watch TV from the
right.
You watch TV like watch cartoons, and then whether it's a Saturday morning and Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network at the time, and then
right.
You played video games. Video game that was like the Super. That was when the Nintendo was Super Nintendo or
right.
Sega Genesis.
That's all my era right there.
And before, like in pre-PlayStation era, which I got into that later. And then,
right.
Then then music has been kind of like in there, because that was when because me born in the 1990s, that was like when we just coming off the 80s, and the 90s was the new era, which I came in, and then we kind of saw how strong the culture is, and then I got into it with me watching like music videos. That was when Yo on TV Raps was popping, and then BET Rap City, then and the box.
Right, I remember the box. And me, I grew up on Video Music Box. I didn't have cable. I got satellite radio, TV at like 2001. So for me, it was I used to download music videos on my computer. And then, of course, there was a Video Music Box before that. Shout out to Uncle Ralph. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out the Video Music Box documentary out now on Showtime. Support Uncle Ralph, Rob McDaniel, salute, living legend. So that's how you got started. And when did you feel like you wanted to get more involved in music, DJing, and then later on producing?
I got into it. Well, the more I'm starting like listening to the music, and then more I got into it, it's just like I was just like I just kept on like it just by like it was anonymous for me, because I just while I was like enjoying my I was enjoying my childhood, playing games and playing because it was a time that a lot of kids that just going outside to play, but me, I'm always like I'm always the one to just enjoy just inside and going in the media, and then once that I'm starting to learn how to like record tapes, and then cassette tapes, and then and then I got in it. Because that was because mixtape was so heavy at the in the 90s, so I was like, I can learn how to do my own.
Right. we all started with doing the pause tapes,
Yeah.
cassette tapes, and that's having the CD player and one or two tapes, and you recording into it, and yeah, man.
Yeah, that was beginning like me getting a DJ, and I wanted to learn how to scratch, but then like I tried it before like when my parents records, and then that was.
You gotta use a good quality turntable for that. You can mess the record up.
Yeah, that I used to get a little. I used to get a little bit.
Did you scratch the records?
Yeah.
You get in trouble?
Not like that, but it was just like, what was I doing? I was like, how did you do? Yeah, that was that time that like you learn how to do it. So I just like I didn't want to get into full scratching mode, so I just kind of get into DJing, by the mix mode, like by going through my folks' collections, CD collection, and then just play what was out at the time, and or album cuts or mixtape cuts, and then because that was when my this is when we were buying like mixtapes through the like bodega stores, and then you listen to what's hot at the time or exclusive, and then you
what DJs were you listening to back then? What mixtape DJ?
Like Ron G, Clue.
Yes, indeed, it's Ron G. Kuminati. Shout to both of them, both legends in the
and then Funkmaster Flex, which this is when he was doing 60 minutes of funk mixtapes.
Classics.
Yeah, I remember those. And
when that Wu-Tang Posse cut with Killer Sin, oh my God, what was song? I think that was from Volume 3.
Yeah, that was Volume 3. I remember those, and then it kind of made me want to get to do it my own, and then like not only also rapping, because at the time I don't really know anybody that can rap, because I was mostly like just joining it like just joining like on a mixtape level, like doing it on a cassette era, and it was like I'm doing it myself, and then once when the CD burning era was starting to come around, and then I started learning, because
that's my era right there. That's when you started getting money,
and
getting it in.
I was starting to learn how to see how you I go because I had a computer in my house at the time, and that was when I was learning how to get on the internet. Even though
what kind of computer you had back then?
Well, my dad had those HP.
Right. I'm a Mac guy. I grew up. I had the Performer 600. That was my first computer back in '93.
But the first computer we had is IBM.
Okay.
Yeah, IBM, because that's when I
Was it Windows or was it DOS?
I never. Well, back then, I didn't
probably MS DOS.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You gotta type in the code to get the program.
I didn't know anything about Windows at the time.
Yeah, I was.
Once I gotta ask my mom about that. Like,
it's probably DOS.
Yeah, DOS. Because at that time, like
before Windows.
Yeah, but like. There wasn't no Windows 95 or it should be, but I don't know. But it wasn't.
Right.
So once I got introduced to the internet like around 99.
Okay.
And internet was not internet today, because because internet back then you just like you cut off the phone lines and then you get yelled at. you know that.
Yep.
I always been get that
56K modem. And later on, we had DSL.
Yeah, thank God. And later, and most recently now, Wi-Fi.
Cable internet, right?
Yeah,
cable internet with the Wi-Fi.
Thank God for that, because
y'all don't understand how slow internet was. The website, the image take forever to load up.
And also, it's tough to try to do your work. And you try to get on the phone.
And to download a song. One song, it take 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes. Napster? Oh my God.
Yeah, that was
Right.
then once I got and once I got introduced to like LimeWire, and then like
right, LimeWire was dope.
And then like that's how I got faster and then also at the same time, what triggered me getting into like from DJing to like, producing. Well, I wasn't planning on making beats yet, but I started to get the ear. The whole time I was listening to music, I was starting. I was just listening like on the ear perspective, because
right.
in the '90s that was when like Tribe and then Wu-Tang and Outkast and then Gangstar was doing their shit at the time.
My favorites.
And then like 2000 hit. That was when people started to come around and
Shut the Evidence, Rocket with Science, Babu. Yes, sir. The home.
And then Slum Village, that which include Dilla, because I was already
piece of Dilla and Batson.
I was already familiar with Dilla, like with some of the singles that he had in the '90s, because back then he was JD.
Right.
And
I don't know was JD first. I didn't know him as Dilla. To me, he was always JD.
I knew about
Welcome to Detroit. That was all JD.
What about Umar?
The Umar did the collective?
Yeah, well, Tip, because I was introduced to Dilla when, because at the time,
they did the Crooklyn Dodgers, I think the first one, right?
No, this is Tip. Because he didn't go. Because I started hearing Dilla when this is when Farside came out with the second album, and then and then like when the Tribe fourth album, the Beats Are All Right, that was when you started hearing.
You remember Dilla on that,
and also
Busta Rhymes and
Matt Skills.
Right.
And also De La.
Common as well.
Yeah, which is like the song Chorus, but Uma was the first thing that I heard. Yeah, but at the time, this is when nobody acknowledged his name yet.
Right.
I started hearing about Dilla when this is when Climax was the Volume 2 was 2000, and I'm starting I was watching the Basement at the time, and I'm seeing I'm like, this is because I was already tuned in like the group by at the time, and then once they came back to another album, and then I didn't realize he left the group to do solo.
Doing Slum Village.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that got me introduced to Elzai.
Right.
And then they started so I was already in the Slum Village spot in the early on, and I got into got into Roots, and I got into Kanye West with the college dropout at the time, and then and then MF Doom, which I didn't know about, I didn't realize he was a step up X from KMD to Doom, and then most of my personal favorite, Little Brother. Because when they was one of my favorite internet age groups that I listened to, because this is when listening was out, and then
they were amazing,
and then
they still are amazing, all of them.
Oh yeah, because I'm glad that they came back with Pooh and Fonte played.
Yeah, I've gotten to work with Pooh a little bit, and Joe Scudder, and actually I DJed for some of them at CMJ back in the day. I had Pooh on Freestyle Files Volume 2, but the whole Justice League crew always been real cool and humble.
Yeah, I have been I did. Yeah, so I kind of introduced to now that introduced to the Little Brother, I started hearing Justice League, and then a little bit later on, because I got a Little Brother to just listening. Okay, and that's when I got in. Because at the time when I started, I started buying CD player because I'm always on a bus, school bus at the time, going.
The old school Discmans.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was listening. I was because I'm on. I'm riding the school bus for about an hour, or picking up, dropping off, or picking up, dropping off kids or the school, and I needed something for me to get into. just sort of get my mind.
Of course.
And
The
also
long rides, it always you really learn to love the music in those long rides. You know, you take it in a way. Well, you're at home, you have other distractions. On a ride, you just looking at your surroundings.
That's been kind of like my thing, like for the last 17 years,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm always out a long ride, and I was like, I don't want to hear no conversation or no,
Right.
no, because that was when I was starting like. Because that was when I was starting to get bored with the radio. And
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the radio.
I used to be, but then like when 04, then
Right.
around 04, this is when like music was starting to like
Right.
changing up, and then started changing up, and then I started getting into the underground more.
Right.
And then like I'm gonna listen to it because like I mean when I first started getting to when I first started getting to like discover some artists underground
Mm-hmm.
rise, and because I was kind of out of the circle because I was kind of out of the
Right.
circle because this is when like this is at the time that Jay-Z was retirement from this was
Right.
after
After the Black Album. Right.
yeah, Black Album, and 50 Cent and the G Unit era was like, even though I was listening to them, but I was kind of like I was starting getting a little bit less. I started to see like what else is popular
Right.
because that was popping up, but then that's when like I'm starting to hear about Little Brother and I'm doing this with Matt Villainy was the
Right.
I got to that later, but then
You know what I loved about. I love when Little Brother and the whole Justice League teamed up with Boot Camp Click, and Boot Camp came down to North Carolina and was working with Sean Price and Smith and Wesson and Buckshot, working with Ninth Wonder and Crisis and collaborating with everybody in the crew.
right.
That was beautiful.
And then also that they kind of reemerged because after
Right.
after they came they went through their major label experience, and then when
Right.
they kind of and then Priority.
Right.
And then once
Right.
that it wasn't the next generation that kind of like they kind of like they kind of read our audience, and then Buckshot and then Knife Wonder,
Right.
and then like and Sean Price as a solo artist, and then
Right. The whole Triple Threat campaign.
yeah,
That was the shit.
I was like, I mean, I was like, so I just like, so I was already in like Knife Wonder, and then me getting to like, and then like and then
Rest in peace to Sean Price, by the way. This big homie.
so then so I was already listening to like so but I always had those and every time when I'm in my headphones and I always get someone kind of, because at the time I was in a church group or at the time, and then
Did you sing or you play instruments or what?
neither. I was
Church group like an after school group.
yeah, more
Okay.
like a youth group, because I was with my
Right. Okay.
youth group, because my best friend at the time I was rolling my best friend at the time was rolling with
Okay.
was rolling with
Hey, I went to Hebrew school in middle school. It is what it is.
yeah, because was with me, because it was something that me to get into. It was something for me to get into while I, because I never was like an after school program.
Right.
But then because I want to get into, because it's something I want to do while instead of just going. Because at that time, like my city was starting to get a little bit like was starting getting very like it's getting wild.
Yeah. Buffalo has a reputation for unfortunately, a lot of drugs and violence, and
I started seeing it like when my teenage years. So that was something. Right. So that was just something I'm meeting. I kind of saw it me getting to my teenage years. So I just kind of, and then like it was kind of important in my teenage life at the time. And then
Buffalo was real, y'all. I remember. I don't know if you saw. I interviewed Westside Gunn. I was one of the first people to do an in-depth interview with him back in I think around 2015.
Right.
And there's a misconception. New Yorkers think that it's just suburbs and farms up there. Nah, it's real.
Yeah, I witnessed that. Like I witnessed.
I've been up there a few times.
So it was just So right. it was like I never had I never really had no experience with the city. But then when I got older, that it was just like I used to hear bodies have been dropping and places started getting foreclosure and so it was just like. Yeah. And a lot of my people has been moving and that. It was just like, it's like when I got out of my teenage years, it was like, what the fuck?
That's when you started getting into trouble. Same here. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and more so 90s as far as getting into trouble. As a teenager. So we saw stuff that a lot of kids today couldn't even believe.
So I kind of like got in, I did some more positive way to my childhood, and then but me got into the music, it was definitely like tool, but then I didn't get. But people would ask me what I'm listening to. It's like I actually such and such that was giving me and everybody was giving me like the huh. Those those hum moments because they listen to what was hot at the time while I'm listening to what was like what I'm listening to is that's on the law,
right?
And then that kind
and you really love this culture. You're a hip hop historian. You love this, and I know I was showing you these comics earlier, and you knew what each one was. Like, I pulled this one out.
That's also magnetic critical beatdown.
Right away. And that's 1988. That came out before you were born.
Yep.
But
and
that's the easy one.
That's Tupac, All Eyes on Me.
And then this one I didn't even know, but you knew it before
That's Kevin Gates.
Yep. So yeah, I'm a major comic book fan too, but a lot of people don't, especially people who were born in the 90s, don't know about Kool Keith and Ultramagnetic MCs. And I think people sleep on a lot of the dope stuff that came out in the 80s.
Yeah, but because at the time, like the 80s, it wasn't that strong.
Right.
And then in the 90s, that it was starting getting like it was starting getting to it basic way. So and then basically, and then in 2000, that was when it started to get a little bit more, more like in the internet, more digital, a little bit slower in the digital way. Even though not a little bit, but the digital.
But the fact that you appreciate, about it, we could probably talk about stuff from the 80s and 90s, like, and you were not even born, and you were a kid, and I'm the same way. I love stuff that came up before I was around, and I think real hip hop had studies the culture before we came around, even the soul and the funk, where the samples came from and everything,
Right.
And
I kind of studied. I did kind of study. I did kind of study, but like the times that I was like I was on my when my family gathering or it's like it's like when I heard it's like when my folks or somebody was playing, I'm like, when I heard this before, and then that's when which I'm gonna get to that how I got into production, how I really got into the production for real, because like I got into like so that's how I started to know. So I definitely kind of kept this whole thing, like I started my listening ears because I discovered it like in 2000, and then, but what really got me in doing production is that like because after my phone, I was kind of like in a dark place, like me, I got held up, I got held at a gunpoint like around a date in 07, and then my father was passed away like in March 08. Yeah. And then 08, and then I was trying like do things like get a job and get it like a trying to do something that I was like is responsible nothing that really kind of like and also music wise it was starting to get like
yeah, there wasn't a lot of great stuff in 2008. I mean, I really liked the Planet Asia DJ Muzz album that came out that year, Pain Language.
Oh yeah, that was a dope album.
I remember when it came out, we had the album release at I think it was Southpaw in Brooklyn. That was a good time.
And then like that was it was only a few weeks since I listened to it, but then like but everything else it was just kind of because at the time it was like So the boy was hot, on the radio, which that kind of like that killed the whole coach the whole culture scene. And Lil Wayne was kind of like he was hot by the time, but then like this is when Carter 3 was on the rise. He was overrated to me at the time.
Super overrated.
Yeah. So
and let's keep it real. He had a lot of ghostwriters. He had a lot of help. And
also,
I was never a big Lil Wayne fan.
I mean, he's doing better now, but back then it was just like, but because I couldn't really like. I don't remember. I haven't been listening like one.
He was huge back then.
Yeah, he was like he was huge, and then I kind of like a little, that kind of like huge, and then also I was and then. So I just like I was so disconnected with like the music and that stuff. So once I got to like what kind of brought me back was like production for real. When my mom was starting to listen to music a lot after and then in the morning, starting to get the my pops in it. I'm starting to listen to a lot of like old records and then I was like okay the sampling
soul R&B
all soul R&B and I was starting to get into like production, but I didn't have no ways to get into it. So at that time, I was getting myself together by switching school and going to going to the then I had to go out of town. I had to go out of town to the Virginia, and then my uncle was turning 50 at that time. This is 09, by the way, and then. Then I had a cousin who he was already established as a producer and mixer and an artist.
What was your cousin?
He was go by like Mr. Green or Eric, Mr. Not Mr. Green, but Mr. Green but his real name is Aaron Green Jr.
Mr. Green from Jersey?
No.
I'm like,
no,
okay.
No, I had
that one. Okay.
No, I had a cousin well, he go by Green, but his real name is Aaron Green Jr.
Okay.
I have an uncle who have name after him.
Okay.
So he was like, so I was, because me and him, and then along his brothers, his two brothers were tight, were tight, and then so when I found out he was already established with the music, it's like okay, and we went over to this uncle house. He showed me how you make I pulled this one record that how the sample and then like and then this is and then I pulled this one record that he made and because at the time this is when Michael Jackson was gone and I was so and Out of Tell was my favorite Nas record. And then when I was trying like flipping them the same twist, and then I kind of like he helped me how to produce the record, and that was like
What were you using at that time? Using the computer or?
It was a keyboard. Yeah, he had a keyboards,
Okay.
and then he had a keyboards, and then like this is this is this is when we was at in the machine.
Okay. I'm gonna show them.
Yeah, this is my day. This is day one.
Day one. VA.
And I was 19 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was 19 at the time, and then that was like the yeah, producing was my born career, my born year of my career.
And when you started producing, did you feel like this is it? This is what I was made to do. This is my path in life. Did you feel like, or did you just grow into it more and more?
Well, both, because like once I got home, I didn't have like once I came back home after my trip,
Right.
I ain't had shit. I ain't had shit like because
you get Fruity Loops or something.
No Fruity Loops. No, I had like samples. I had like a little like a demos, but I didn't have no equipment. I didn't have no drum machines on. I didn't have no computer and nothing. Cause like and nothing. I was cause I wanted to keep going. I want to keep going, but then like, damn, I didn't have that. So I kind of like a little bit like learning, and then also I was linking up with this partner of mine who I met at this program. This program day. His name is Jarrell. He was Supreme Mars at the time.
Okay.
And then so he was the first rapper that we was kind of into the same thing with as like he was an MC,
right? And
he don't want to kind of introduce me to the he don't want to kind of put me on to many of them. And Conway, well, by then there were 2 Chainz. He was 2 Chainz Benny, and then Conway was Cannon.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like 2009.
Okay.
I didn't know about Westside Gunn yet, but then like because so he already knew about them.
I think Westside Gunn might have been locked up at that time.
Yeah, he was locked up, and then but my partner was in the streets during 2000, and also going to the studio because he was a kid rapper.
Okay.
And then he was like, this is when Buff City and this is when Buff City Records was what was DJ Shada, and then he was
right, DJ Shada.
And then he was got shit locked down in the city at the time. And then like and then so my partner was introducing, but I wasn't even like too fully into the Buffalo scene. So we was kind of like, do things like to ourselves, like do like a demos, and then like I was trying to like produce it. At the time, I was just like, this was like LimeWire was still around, or we was just downloading instrumentals. This is the real hip hop instrumentals, not that the shit that was on the radio hot. Right. And then I was just picking some beats that instrument, also mixtape level. We used to record. Now, how we would record was through the phones, like the flip phones, or we have, this is when like flip phones. So that was like
hey, everybody used different stuff. I remember when some people used there was a PlayStation 1 recording program we used to use to make beats and record.
Oh, with the music generator.
Yeah,
I heard about that. I never had a chance to. I never had a chance to buy it.
Some people use Cool Edit Pro. Everybody uses different stuff. But at the end of the day, as long as it comes out dope, that's what matters.
Well, so I started I still learning how, but then like. Once because at this time I was starting going to like Metro. I was starting to learn how to get around and catching the bus, and then because the reason why I did it because I was in a program at the time, and I could prove to that I could get to school, get back on my own instead of just pick me up and then drop me off for the yellow bus all the time. I was really grown tired of that. You know, once I got off my older, and then I could just prove that I could get there on my own.
Of course, definitely like having that freedom, man.
I did that, and then I did that, and then and then like, because once I got in that place, it did give me more freedom, because like it did prove that I can like get I can prove I can get to school or come home to school on my own, and it did got my passion into that, and also I got and also I was there for how to get a job, because that was a mission at that time. So at the time, so I never really looked at, so I still wasn't looked at to get do music, because you know Buffalo, I could, you know, music at the time, but it was like, so me and him, like we were still on it, but he was having trouble, like. He was having trouble, like, get his life together. Like, you know, he's getting kicked out and going different places. And then, you know, and then we were just kicking it and just doing these lot of demos that we did. Right. And I still wasn't, still wasn't making beats. And I started learning how to go to Guitar Center. And that was like when I looked at a spot. I was like, where did you get like equipment and get like a beat machine? It's like, I spent like, you know, because every time I go like after school, that was my thing at the, you know, at the time of school, just go there and then, you know, just learn how to like use the turntable, learn how to use the big, you know, drum machines, and then I never and then I never bought anything there yet. And then once that.
So what's your first setup? Were you using just a computer? Or MP, or
by that time, like when I turned 20, I got a computer.
Okay.
And I got my own computer.
And what program were you using for production at that time?
When I got a job a year later, I used Magic Music Maker.
Okay.
I used Magic Music Maker. Everything that I did at that time.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, Magic Music. It's MAGIX Music Maker, right?
Okay.
I used I spent like $60 at Best Buy at my mall on
no Fruity Loops still.
I never
got Fruity Loops?
I never got
I never used it either, but I'm just saying.
I was trying to use something simple. Right. And also I was like I was using something simple, because I was out at the mall, because I had a good friend of mine who was working on the mall, and also I was going to a flea market. So I seen this software, and I was like, okay, this is how you listen. Going making beats, and I'm like, this is how you making beats. And then I came home, I installed it, I learned how to, because I already got like samples and drum breaks and and I was trying to like, once I installed it and I learned how to do everything on my own, like I got busy. I did, because everything I did, because I still got a lot of beats that I spent about 3 years to myself to learn how to make beats, because you know, when I first got in like, you know, production, I don't know who I was like planning on doing the beats to or produce to, because you know at that time, like, because you know because by that time everybody was all rhyming over like you know, Trap Shit was out at the time, and then Drake was hot, you know, by Young Money was popping up, and then the Brick Squad was like. It was a lot of like a lot of Lex Luger beats, so it was so it was a lot of that wave at this, you know, by then, and I didn't feel like getting like turned down or getting like, because like so I just kind of like avoid getting those
and you worked on your craft and you got to where you wanted.
And also the only one I was working with was my partner, because by this time he left Buffalo, go to Ohio to get his life together, and then by that time I was still like sending beat CDs, like, you know, to see
in the mail.
Yeah, I don't know anything about emails yet.
Right,
and
right.
I was still like learning how to because
Yeah.
so it was like I was still I don't know shit about the emails. So I was like so I just kind of like
Right, right.
and then my
I used to get CDs in the mail from artists. Put us on the mixtape. They wasn't sending out no, you know.
so it was just so like and then my cousin and I sent it to my cousin, you know, to see what I can what I've been doing, and then that kind of like
Right.
and that it was a one record that he was rapping at the time, and then also it was one beat that he did, and he asked me to sample because to see the structure better,
Right, right.
and because I don't know how to like I don't know how to structure like the sample like I do now, but at the time I did everything on a computer, but
Right.
what fucked me up is that what fucked me up was a computer what fucks me up was a computer keep
Right.
crashing me, and then I had to like start the whole software, and that's how like
Been there.
and that's and so I had to kind of like do everything, and then and then like I did myself. I started producing myself for 3 years.
Right.
I didn't start going to like and I'm starting like meeting like people that's talent a little bit later, because that's why I met this cat named Renan who goes by Beast Anonymous.
Okay.
Like we was at the this place called Record Theater, which is no longer exists in my city. So I was like, because we were just like
Yeah.
buying like records, and then we was talking about, and then like we were exchanging numbers. Like I found that he produced too. He made beats, and then like because he was starting his team, and then like I had this one I had this one dude that he's a rapper, but then like he was trying to get into that 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 mainstream rhyming, and I kind of put my twist to get because we met like we already met when like I was in the BOCES program at the time, and then by the time he get into rapping, that it's like it was cool, and I got in my first place. I had my first placement like in 2014 because
Okay.
he was working on a mixtape.
Were you still using stuff on the computer, or did you get an MP at that time?
I'm still on the
Okay.
computer, and then and because I did that, it was just like it was cool, but I was still unknown at this time.
Right.
And that's when like so that was when I start that's when I was like that was when I was in a point, and at the same time that I was having a turmoil with my job, and I stopped hanging out with my friends, and then this one girl, one girl that kind of like stood me up there, and then I got into some shit that like I got into it, and that's some certificate that I had from my program that was not suitable getting a job, so I had to go to I had no choice to go back to get my GED, which is I'm still processing on that, which no further details about that.
But how did you first link up with Westside Gunn and Afro and artists like that? Like what era was that? That was what 2016, 2017?
Well, actually, when I met Westside Gunn, this was like 24. This is like 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, like actually this month.
Okay.
Yeah, like 7 years ago.
All right.
So like I met so after when like I'm starting going to like so at that time when I was starting to get like going to like shows, and I was starting going local shows, like I was already going to like Broadway Joe's at the time, and then going to like Hardware Cafe. That's where I met that's where I met Derringer, because he was a DJ. He was a DJ at the time. And then I was yeah, I met him. I met Derringer when he was a DJ, but then I never knew him. I never knew him as a producer. And then like so that's how it all ties together. And then like then I started going like a lot of these like the shows and around my venues. That was my city, and I go something in Rochester or something like yeah, that's why I was going something in Rochester.
When you bring beat tapes with you, or
well, I had a beat CDs, but I wasn't really like I didn't have enough that I can send because I was and also I was starting learning how to like emails.
Right.
That's when I was translating to give them the emails because like and then like and then when I met Westside Gunn, and like because I was already friends with him, I'm friends with him. I started to be friends with him on Facebook.
Okay.
And then this is around the time that Hitler 2 it just came out.
Yeah, that's when I met him first too, and I met him through Planet Asia though, because Asia linked us up.
And then like then the Hitler 3 was started. I met him on Hitler 3. It didn't publicly came out, but then I met him like when because he had a release party at my city, and that was when like because I saw him and Skyzoo in a picture together.
Right, they were working together. I remember Camouflage Monk did the Rolex joint.
Yeah, that was my introduction to the West, because that was the Rolex, because they shot the video in my city.
Right.
They shot the that was my introduction, and then
I was on Hitler 2.
Well, Hitler 3.
Was it Hitler 3?
Yeah, it's Hitler 3.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, Hitler 3. Yeah, because the Hitler 2 it was all danger.
Right.
And the birth of the Camouflage Monk, which is the last track.
Right.
And then because
I got a copy of that at A3C down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
At that time.
And then once that like I got in once I got in that party, like I was super unknown at the time. I got there like I said what's up, and then it was cool, and like he brought Skyzoo into town, and
right.
And that's also the first time I met Conway.
Okay.
Because it was like cool, and he was already like by that time he was already like this is after the shooting.
Right.
Because I met him, I didn't knew him when it was normal, but I met him when it's and then because like I kind of understand what happened, but I wasn't aware of it so I that's where I'm at, and then I was vibing in, and I was approaching.
Did you already know Benny at that time, or familiar with his music just from being in Buffalo?
The name been familiar, and I see Benny was there. I didn't meet him until a little bit later, because I was kind of like I was trying to get the vibe,
right.
I was trying to get used to the scene, and then I was approaching Westside Gunn, the doing beats, but I wasn't really. But at that time, I wasn't really like I was unknown at the time, and then and then they were about to be like, because it was just mostly focused on West and Conway.
Right, at that time.
Yeah, right. At that time, and then I wasn't really and then they were just about to be new, so I just kind of like, okay, I want to get. That's how I want to get to know them and be the fans to them and support them, and I'll do music or whatever when the time is right, and then years a little later when I see them get the fan perspective, drop it like hell of tapes and the hell of vinyls, and
the output is crazy. They drop so much
and then like just the merch game is a little bit crazy, and then the shows that was, and then I witnessed to get a lot of cosigns, and then they brought the underground elements to it at the time, and then that's when I started, and then like at the time, and then I seen the witness like Shiner was shady, and then adding Benning to the fold to get him where to be, and then get them be ready to be, and how, and the plus how the Robert Joes kind of came together is that like after 5 years, you know, just get to know the crew, and then like there was about to be like I think it was just like it was a time like because I was already like bigger, and I also I just started getting my MPC in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, I started getting my MPC, but I still use to this day. So I was transitioning to get my MPC, and I started learning. It was simple. Like I didn't know no manual, no nothing. It was just like I was already into it. So I spent about 3 years. I was doing my own albums at the time and doing my own projects, and I was starting to get a little bit. I'm starting to get a little bit of my professional placement, and then that was when I get into my group with the Green Giant, and then well, I think of a Frigid and with them, and then me get into the you know, and then while Griselda was still popular and then in 2019, and then like okay, when I started the fan base was starting to rise, and then then like I was still making the beats, and I was on, and then by that time I was focused on my second album, Classical Gifted. I put out the research like 2017.
Okay.
And then like the Classical Gifted.
Which one do I have here?
This is Cee Gee.
What year did this drop?
This is like recently.
Okay.
Like 2021. I dropped this like twice, which is but I dropped the Classical Gifted in 2020, early last year.
Okay.
But I was working on that at the time during like, and then I had but then you know by that time I had I got Rick Hyde on my second album, so I already locked the vert because I was working I was already working their studio, DJ Shay's studio at the time, while I was recording the Green the first Green Giant album. This is during the height when the Griselda Shady era.
Right.
So I was already working on that, and then I started linking up with Rick Hyde because you know I want to. I was initially when I was working on my second album. I wanted to get Benny to be on my second album, but I didn't have a ways to to get. I didn't have my funding was kind of a little bit like was tougher.
And they about their paper.
It was tough for me. I mean, and plus my job was not really like you know at that time. And so I was kind of like so I was kind of like a little bit like I was really like debating on whether I want Benny or Rick Hyde. So I chose Rick Hyde to be on my album, and then but the fact is that they didn't have a studio, so I had to wait. I had to wait it on like to get him to lock him on. This is when he dropped the first place, in 2019. And then like, so I was waiting on that. I was still making beats, you know, just wrote my second album. And then this at the time, and then like, when the beat was later becoming Robert Joes, that's when like, Robert Joes, it wasn't called it yet, but then this is when Plus I Met, the first one came out, was just about to came out. And then like, I was already, I made that like June. And then I didn't start to submit it. I started like submitted it until like July. This is before his birthday. This is a week before his birthday. Before his birthday month. And then but because how I submitted it to him, but like he had a release date party at in Buffalo, right? This is when the first Fly God, Awesome God, came out.
I went to the listening in New York, in Manhattan. I was there for that.
I forgot I did see the footage that, and then he had a day release party for that. Then and then
was that 2016?
This is 2019.
Fly God came out in 2019. No, it came out earlier than
that. The Fly God came out 2016.
Right. Okay.
But the Fly God, the Awesome God came out in 2019.
Right.
So it was like but I did remember I used to see you and the footage. But then that was but the awesome guy one that was like when he had a date party in my city. I was enjoying it, but at that time I wasn't even on a creative mood. I wasn't on a creative mood like when I first submitted, because like I got into some like I got into some hatred shit going on around my city, and some
you had haters hating on you, or negativity affecting you,
on and above. Because I got into something that it was just kind of a little bit over some bullshit that kind of that it was just, it did leads up to me sending the beats, because I was sending the beat because it was some gig I did. That was good. I was working with because I was working with Genesis at the time.
Show them the CD.
I was working on this project at this time. At this time, man, we was like I was DJing. I was DJing for him, but then like somebody was kind of like I was having a little bit, and then it was something that kind of went down, and then I got kicked out, and then it fucked my whole weekend up, and then
you got kicked out of the event.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
you was wilding out. What you was doing, man?
It was some cover dispute. It was some cover dispute that was kind of went wrong. It was over some $5 or something like that, and then it was some $5.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, so it was a dumb, and then I kind of like, so I was kind of not in the creative mood, and then, being at party, that West party, it was kind of like my relief, and I was there, and mind you, I got off of work. I was already tired from it was a busy weekend because my city has like a Taste of Buffalo. Okay. Because my city has the best food my best know I had the best food in there. So they always had.
You said Buffalo has the best food?
Yeah.
In the whole world, or just the best buffalo wings?
Well, no, best food, because we had a good ass restaurant.
Yeah, you got some good soul food. New York got some good food, man. I don't know. I got to bring you some spots, bro.
Yeah, so
I don't know. You had some...
but we had like so every year we always have a Taste of Buffalo, and then but it was happening around that weekend,
right?
And Wes was in town during this whole situation, and then I ended up with. I ended up with the party, so I just come on this down, right. And I was, and then so I was just like I was just chilling and then vibe out and then party out, and then my homegirl she had me suggesting that I can do something for West, Conway, or Benny, because this is when I had beats already made for them just in case, and then and I told Wes y'all got something I'm gonna send us, send them down, send them to the side. I send that along with others, just in case on the next day, and then right. he hit me up a couple of days later. While I was playing my game, and he texted me.
What game are you playing?
I was playing a Sega Genesis Classic on PS4.
Okay.
Yeah, I was playing that, and then he hit me up in my inbox. He chose what he chose. Go for it, do what you do, and leave me to be, so I can because I don't want to know. I don't even want to know what's going to happen, because I don't want to know what's going to happen, because I wasn't even on the by that time I wasn't even focused on that on that.
Right.
I was so
I bet you this gave you the push to go hard with it, right?
Well, actually, well, this is more like this. This is more like you know, that I was on. That was like a plan B.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a plan B because I was ready. Because at that time I was ready to done with this. Yeah, I was ready to be done with this at the time because and also I was working my second album because like if this like my second album classical if this second album would not do how it because the song was already done like prior for him and Benny meet up with Hov.
Okay.
This is like between July and August. This is when it got a Rock Nation because the song was already done. Because I ended up because later that month I ended up meet up with Wes at the in town. This is when kids was going back. This is when kids was going back to school,
right.
and he was like about the school, and then he had me heard the song through his phone. Pulled his phone, I heard it, and then I was like,
oh.
I was like, this brought me back, and then that's when, and that was the same day he had his own day. He had his own, he had his own Westside. So that kind of like got me, where I want to be, and that's the same. And I was finishing up my album at the time, so that kind of so I had Rick Hyde came in the studio the following week. Right. They do his part, and then because this is when this is when he was just started working on the second place. Right. A little bit stuck on second place after Benny got signed to Rock Nation, and then I was like, okay, I was slowly ready to get my second album done, and then I fall back on doing shows again because there was something that happened, and then when he announced the Hitler 7, and the same time I was working on my second album, and then I was like, okay, it's like I don't want to know the details. I really don't know because and plus,
but it was a blessing, man.
But it was a blessing, but I wasn't even sure at the time because I wasn't even sure as
So how did you feel when it finally dropped?
It felt like I feel like it brought me back to it brought me it got me kept going. Right. But when it announced, but when he dropped the list, but I gotta sort of when he dropped the list, and mind you, I was at work, and then this is when the day that this is a Halloween weekend, by the way. The day that it was a day that Benny was working on Benny was on tour pushing promoting the Plucked Up tape at the time, and he had a show in my city at the time, and that was like so it was like the day that his cousin was like performing at home, and he dropped the list. My name got and then I'm scrolling down. I was just about to come back on my break from and then I see my name is on the caption. I'm like, and then I saw it, and then like my inbox, my comments is like it's like then and I was just about to get ready, like I was low key son. I was just about to walk off. And I was about to get my part. I was about to get my party on, and then like I dropped it. It came out. It's just like it made me want to like it got me where I am right now, and it got me where I am right now, and it dropped my right now, and I finally dropped my classical.
Let's talk a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry.
It finally got me, and then I finished my second album, and then it really got me into the.
Let's talk a little bit about what we have going on. You and Deuce Ellis linked up, and it's the first time you're working with another producer, right? like co-producing stuff.
Yeah.
Where you're making the drums and he's playing keys, including working on the Triton that he got from Papa Wu, who got it from RZA. So he's on RZA's old keyboard, playing stuff out.
Right.
And they hit me up. I'm sorry, Deuce hit me up. Was like, hey, I want you to, host this project that me and Cee Gee are doing, on some DJ shit, make it give it that mixtape feel. And on the help of the promo and whatnot, I was like, all right, that's cool. But how about if I get on board and become a partner in it, and I help, record stuff, and I help, get some more artists on it, and it ended up working out, and that's what we're working on right now. So that's the Green Ourboros.
Yeah.
Green Ourboros. We're working on that now, and I'm gonna tell you a few of the artists we have. We got a posse cut with two of my favorite MCs, Tragic Gaddafi and Planet Asia. And then the Mussolini's on that joint from the Trust Gang, Shed the 38 Spanish Rochester. And then Cosmo's on it from Queens, the Criminal God, Cosmo. And then Deuce was like, fuck that, I'm getting on it. And he did his thing on it. And we got Sav Kills, from my All Elements crew, my team. And who else? And we got St. Chris. So it's coming together, the project. And I'm just excited. We got a lot of dope beats and a lot of amazing legendary MCs are feeling it and getting more involved. It's gonna be a big thing,
Yeah.
You already know we working, bro.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's what I want you guys to know about. Green Ourboros is coming. We're working hard in the studio on it, and I gotta get the jiu-jitsu class where I'm gonna have to do 1,000 push-ups and my shoulder's gonna fall off. So look out for that project. What else you got coming?
Well, I got Cee is out now. I got
make sure you cop that. Where can they go and get that?
As my bank, as
Bandcamp,
CG Incorporated bandcamp.com and
CEEGEE Incorporated.
bandcamp.com. Okay. And then I got I'm working on besides what we were working on, I got me and Genesis got got another project with the Pride of the 90s that I got. Okay. I got the Green Giant 3, which is coming soon. Pick up the Frigid Giant coming to Gatto. I got my partner Mizart. We work on the EP, and I got my guy Cap Johnson. We're dropping the Street Vibe Volume 2 on January.
What are you making, like 20 beats every day? You working hard, huh?
Damn. Man, I don't.
You in the lab? You working?
Yeah, I've been cooking. I've been cooking like and I got this chick named Big Steph. Who's on Deluxe edition, and then we're planning on working on an EP, and I got this. And also for your R&B lovers out here, I got I just put out the color EP with Salsa Artists, and then we'll probably do another one, and then you probably will hear more placements. Whoever you want to know, but and that's all. And that's all I want. The far as y'all concerned, just be on the lookout for the. Deuce working on it, and big up to my
Bandcamp, Cee Gee Incorporated Bandcamp,
and I salute to my Buffalo Kids crew and Bar Association crew.
Shout out to the whole Buffalo. Salute. I'm gonna come up there, especially once I start driving. I'm gonna come up there more often. How else can they reach you? You on Instagram more or Facebook?
Facebook. My personal page is Mr. Green 520. My fan page is Cee Gee, Cee Gee 1990,
Okay.
My Instagram is Cee Gee 1990, and my Twitter is Cee Gee 520.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have all this information below. If you hit more info on your computer, you'll see all your social media info. So make sure you follow Cee Gee. Look out for all these projects coming. Green Ourboros coming. We working, y'all. We working, y'all. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate it, man.
Right.
And we're gonna play a whole bunch of stuff on the radio show, and keep it locked right here on All Elements TV, the J-Ronin podcast, and Dash Radio, Delicious Vinyl for the All Elements mix. Appreciate y'all. Salute.